I'm going to share 5 facts in 5 minutes to help you win a box of Ninja Turtles boosters in the arenadirect. This is not one weird trick, these are just observations based in data. First, we're going to talk about what deck colors to play and which colors to avoid. We'll also talk about which commons and uncommons are better in sealed than you would expect if you've been drafting a lot of the set. Then we'll talk about which commons and uncommons are actually worse in sealed. We'll take a look at some decks that have trophied and one that did not. And finally, as someone who has won boxes in Dragonstorm Tarkir, MTG Foundations, Avatar, Lorwyn Eclipsed, and 2 boxes in the last Turtles arenadirect, I'll share some general advice on how to get there in these events. So first, let's talk deck color. The #1 deck in sealed is also the #1 deck in draft, and that is Orzhov. 60% win rate in sealed, which is actually 1% better than it is in pick 2 draft. The #2 deck is Golgari, ringing in at a 57% win rate, a tiny bit worse than in draft. Then we have Boros, which is actually pretty much tied with Golgari and basically as good as it is in draft. In #4 is it with a 55% win rate, which is 3 percentage points worse than it is in draft. So is it blue-red much worse in the arenadirect than you're used to from your drafts? Then we have Simic at about 52% win rate, which is a full 4 percentage points worse than in draft. And finally, you might be wondering about the 5 color deck. It actually does pretty well, 58% win rate, but that is 3 percentage points worse than in draft, and it is rarely the correct lane to end up in. The percentages are all above 50% because these data are taken from 17lanes.com, a client where the users whose games produce the data actually have really good win rates, well above 50%. And the fact that the numbers on the right don't sum to 0 actually means that the off-archetype decks are better in the arenadirect than they are in draft. So you should be more willing to play, I don't know, Azorius. Now I'll show the 5 cards that are the most worse in sealed compared to how good they are in draft. These are cards that you should most downweight how good you think they are if you open them in your sealed pool. And we'll just talk about commons and uncommons to make it as likely as possible that this is relevant for you. #1 is Henchbots. I have a simple theory, everyone's playing all of their removal in sealed. Henchbots is way worse against even very bad removal. #2, Casey Jones, a highly synergistic is it card. It's just much less likely that you're going to get there on artifact count. #3, Westwind Avatar. If your deck is full of Frog Butlers, this guy is basically a 5-drop. In sealed, it's actually a 7-drop, which makes it a lot worse. #4, Genghis Frog, makes sense. Simic is a lot worse, so the Simic Signpost is a lot worse. And #5, Dimension X, what I take this to suggest is actually that the Boros decks that win are the ones that want to curve out and be really fast. Or maybe Boros decks with splashing tend to play this more and are also a lot worse. Henchbots gets a full 8 percentage points worse in sealed. Casey Jones is 5 percentage points and so on. So do not let me catch you playing a Henchbots in this arenadirect sealed event. Just don't do it. Okay, what's better in sealed than in draft? #1, Mover Up, Shredder's Revenge. This is absolutely classic. This kind of effect is just always better in sealed, set after set after set. Hamato Guardian Stance, really interesting. Maybe the Scry is good, maybe there's less card selection in sealed, maybe combat tricks are a little bit better, maybe the evasion is better. It could also be bomb protection. Last Ronin's Technique, awesome in draft, even better in sealed. I think cards with a lot of raw power can just be better in sealed sometimes. Purple Dragon Punks, I don't really get this one. Very curious. Leave your suggestions in the comments about why this one is better. And Pain 101, this is just classic bomb protection. And these are all about 3 to 4 percentage points better in sealed than in draft. Now I'm going to take a quick look at some trophy decks. So I did the event 3 times last weekend. I got really lucky and I got 2 collector booster boxes out of it. I'll show you each of my decks. This one trophied, and what worked is actually the double Frog Butler ramping into the bombs. My top end had Armagon, Raph and Mikey, and Westwind Avatar. I would not have gotten there if I didn't have the Frog Butlers to make all of those guys cheaper and more castable. I cast all of them, and they were always awesome. Without the Frog Butlers, we saw Westwind Avatar, and that kind of card actually gets a lot worse in sealed. #2, here was my pool, another pool that trophied. Double Turncoat Kunoichi, I had Madam Null, I had Armagon, I had Cloning a Shredder, and I had Shadow Spear. But the curve was ridiculous. The lesson is you can play a chunky curve if you have the card power. And here's my deck that didn't trophy. I think you could guess why. There's no clear plan. It looks totally silly. I don't know how it was supposed to win. It was a horrible pool. Okay, I want to close with some general advice. #1, I'm not here to just encourage gambling. This advice is not a guarantee that you'll win a box. You need to have a budget, know how many you'll buy in advance, and buy that many. Similarly, I can't tell you how many times I've played these on an empty stomach, tired, and once one game ends, I just automatically fire up the next one because it's so easy to do on reflex. Don't do that. Eat, rest, take your breaks, you'll do better. And relatedly, you don't get any prize for playing fast in these. Use your timer, it's a resource. And finally, I run a community Discord, totally free to join, where you can just share your pool and we'll help you build your deck. You can join by clicking on the invite link in the description below. And similarly, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I am going to be running Arenadirect Saturday and Sunday, so you can watch my videos and see how I approach the challenge of winning my 3rd and maybe 4th box of Ninja Turtles. All right, have tons of fun chasing booster packs this weekend, everyone, and good luck in the event.